So hello and welcome to episode 17 of Nightmare Down Under, where we play the game GearCity on Nightmare difficulty Down Under in Australia. We started in 1900, now it is July 1937, and I think it looks like we are through the crisis. So if we look at our yearly profits and losses, first we think never made a loss after the initial build-up in the early 1900s, and now our expenses dropped. That of course was partially helped by that we didn't work too much on our factories, although we are still building a small new one in Melbourne that we closed a few years ago, and our sales are taking off nicely. This is partially due to having launched a very nice ute, which is selling. Initially, it sold against an aging competition. Now the competition is mostly gone, I think. Let's have a look. And so that helps, and a few others too. Yeah, so there is the Apes on Hay, which is also old, so no one would probably buy it anyway, and they seem to have supply issues. Hopesy has none anymore. What's also selling well is still a microcar, even though it is now 5 years old, an excellent type rating still, and no competition either. Can I actually have a look what's selling in Sydney? And there are a few changes. So there was the our 2+2 till a while ago being the best seller. And now the Touring is the best seller, and the microcar was the best seller in the past, but not anymore. So sales of all the other car types have picked up nicely, and now we have a good mixture of cars at the top. And the coupe is actually moving upwards, yes. So that's some recent, yeah, 1935 and 1937, so two different types of regular coupes, and still a good selection of normal coupes and aging Hopesy Cicala and us, who have recently given our a 2+2 a makeover. Sedan sales are still varied, but despite not being that great, ours still sell well, but that's the next big thing on our list to revamp, because they need a new platform. Otherwise, they are now at the very end of their life cycle. So then let's design them a new platform. So a new chassis. So the old one had a 2.4 meter wheelbase. And now we have a couple choices. So in the past we had the ladder and the parameter. The backbone was simply too expensive to design, also terrible in terms of safety, so we don't want that. The Superleggera is purely for performance race cars. Now we have the unibody, and which looks excellent all the way around, except that it is a bit of an effort to design. Well, true, it wasn't just a minor leap in innovation in the 1930s, and the car companies there who tried unibody had some big issues, especially with larger cars. So what I'm going to do, and since we are not the most innovative car company, we're sticking with the frame, body on frame stuff. What's actually still sitting on our medium wheelbase? It's only the sedan and the one coupe that we are making. We might be making two coupes, it depends. So what's important? So the sedan, the 2+2, and the coupe, these all three are at the top. And we could even think of making a sports car, although we certainly don't have the engine for that. So sedan and 2+2. So what's important for those? So sedan wants safety and fuel, and that's, I think, the main thing we're going to engineer for. A little bit of space. The space is largely determined by that we are saying this is a 2.4 meter wheelbase car, and then we pick the body. So ladder and parameter. And the parameter is actually safer than the ladder frame. So we have now way more selection of drivetrains, although not many make that much sense. So the front medium and front mid-engine, rear-wheel drive is much more expensive to design and manufacture, and we're still going for cost leadership because that has served us well. Front engine, front wheel drive has the downside, it's not good in terms of the actual performance. Mid-engine, front wheel drive is again pretty expensive to design and manufacture. So this still has the biggest advantage, the traditional front engine rear wheel drive. Now we have plenty of suspension to choose from, including the double wishbone. And as we all know, it is an excellent suspension type. And here it's actually not that expensive to manufacture, as opposed to air suspension, for instance. And of course, way better than the leaf spring that we've used, and also way better than the other options that we have, such as the independent sliding pillar, which is a pretty simple form of independent suspension. The swing axle and the trailing arm, but those are, I think, only for the rear axles in actual practice, so it's yeah, just probably a matter of game mechanics to offer them for the front. So far we've been using live axles on both ends, so with the increased competition maybe we feel slightly bit innovative and we go for sliding pillar front suspension, but we're sticking with the leaf spring in the rear. So new fresh design, so still 2.5 meter wheelbase, certain width. I just check one thing, so ladder is, so the perimeter is safer. I wonder why that is. It must be inherent, because here strength is higher with the ladder frame, but I'm simply trusting what these other 3 stars say. So we keep, since safety is important, we keep a certain frame height. We can keep the weight as it is. I'd like to fit the big engine in this. Can I make it narrower? Almost. So if we keep it like this, then we can fit the big engine in here. And that's certainly fine. Otherwise, this is reasonably cheap, so that's nice. It takes a lot to develop. So we can probably move these a bit higher, because it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. And then I'll work our way up. So these actually take a fair amount of time. If this is the same for the engine, then what we maybe should do is start with the engine and see how long that takes. So I'm going to do that. So here we can, I think, build upon past designs. So we had a 34 horsepower engine, so and it was adequate for the full size. So maybe something like high 20s. And let's see what engine technology can do for us in the meantime. So we can simply base our new engine off our old medium-sized engine. And again, we're feeling a bit innovative maybe. So a sedan, as we saw, likes safety and fuel economy. So we have now plenty of options for valve trains, so including push rod. And of course we see we're having much more power from the same engine characteristics with the pushrod engine compared to a flathead. And it's not that much more expensive, whereas single overhead cam and double overhead cam are considerably more expensive, and the F-head and T-head are slightly more expensive but also give less benefit than the overhead valve. So we're going for pushrod, and so we don't need 32 horsepower, most certainly not. So we can actually go a bit lower with torque, with power and torque. So 30. So something like this. some more fuel economy. My engine duration is actually nice in terms of the development. So I think these are all fine. Reliability is good. Some we can get also. Nah, let's keep things here, or a little bit of component quality and material quality that actually make a difference to something. So material quality doesn't do anything. A little bit to reliability, but that's then making things much more expensive. So not really. This just gets a little bit of smoothness, which we don't really need. So that's actually good. So 28 going on 30 if we factor in innovations in that we can have once we give the engine a facelift. So what would be the estimation if you put it on the old chassis and use an old gearbox? 17.8, so we are still having somewhat trouble with this. I call it artificial. Okay, here we have the 75% brake specific fuel consumption if we go for 30 horsepower. Is this a horsepower thing or a torque thing? I've never really worked this out. 13.7, so this increase in torque made a difference. And if I decrease horsepower, this also makes a difference. But these sedans are usually heavier than what we had. So 13.7 with 29 horsepower. This is depending on aero drag. So 0.41 is 13.5. And here we have still 14.1. So this actually makes a difference in terms of torque. $14.6. $13.5, 4.1. Is this a certain threshold? Looks like. And is this torque specific or power specific? Torque specific. So we don't need that high revolutions. 13.4. So 77 torque. How much torque has our 2 liter? 107, yeah, so this is then considerably lower. Okay. So this shall be our engine. So 50 reliability maybe. Yeah, so development takes some time, so we can do it in 7 for 800,000. And we can do it in 8 for 560,000. So that's something to keep in mind for the future, that these times are taking much longer. I feel like a bit of urgency. Although, yeah, so we're doing well, so we can rush things a little bit. So 8 months is 612,000, 7 months 800,000. So let's say with 7 months. So that's our new engine. So it's a 28 horsepower with 77 newton meters of torque. So yeah, it has the same, essentially the same displacement. And it's just the second one. So let's build this. And then 7 months is going to be the guiding principle for the chassis. So we can, okay, now we can modify the old one since now we know that we are what we are sticking with. So parameter frame, the new engine or the bigger engine needs to fit. If we increase wheelbase slightly, can we fit it? Yeah. So then we have a bit longer wheelbase and a bit more track width. No, that doesn't do anything. Okay, no problem. Now this takes 7 months. So it's mainly for the sedan. So oh yeah, we said front first independent front suspension. So what's the difference? It costs a little bit more. We're getting more comfort and performance, a bit less dependability. So that's something to compensate for. And of course, it's also more difficult to manufacture. Although we have durability already. And this does hardly do anything here. The design focus for some reason. So let's give it a slightly higher edge in terms of comfort than performance, because the coupes, yeah, we have them, but they're not that important. So within 7 months, more comfort. And it's not that much more expensive. So here it's worth going to town. So let's give an estimation. So with the new engine and we carry over the old gearbox with overdrive. Top speed 94 in the ideal case. And with a bigger engine, top speed above 100. If we pick the right body, probably won't. Okay, so then the 7 months, good choice for the engine. Here we are rushing things a bit, but again we are doing well, so we can afford to rush things. So it's the first parameter frame of the 2.4 meter wheelbase car. 7 months. Gearbox, so we have probably the sedans are still using this old gearbox, and the microcar is still using it. Yep, so we had the 3-speed manual with overdrive as a reasonably recent one. So let's now design a 4-speed with overdrive. And that's then the luxury gearbox. So we won't put it right away into the sedan. So let's design this one top speed wise for the full size sedan with the bigger engine. We can probably do something for dependability, though we don't have to, because we're using the maximum torque input to give some more reliability. Because that one has been tanking through the overdrive. Maybe just a 3-speed without overdrive to get more reliability out of this. What does overdrive do? Fuel consumption. Does this make a difference in the estimation? 15.1, 15.3. A little bit. Okay, so so we won't use the overdrive the non-overdrive in the sedan because they like fuel economy, but they also like reliability, right? So maybe that's then the 2 sedan trims, one with overdrive, one without. Yeah, they also like dependability. So we're at the lower end of what we designed for. So smaller engine. I think here everything is nice. think that's where we are in terms of reliability, because going for 4.5 stars, a bit more expensive. So probably something like this is fine. Here we're going into manufacturing requirements, so that's maybe an argument. 152 with 50 reliability. Only 140, so this is always better. So then let's go for reliability here when we don't use overdrive. So top speed 88. 88 or 91. 88 or 91 as top ends. 89. 95, so that's better. .93, that's lower. So still reasonably short. Here 88, so this is too short. So something like this. 95, 94. Yeah, so then this is the new 3-speed gearbox for the sedan with overdrive, without overdrive, and then the other one with overdrive is something we can reuse. 7 months. And let's put this into development. So it's a 4-speed, it's a 3-speed manual reverse gear, and I think it's the third or the second. It doesn't matter. Let's say it's the third. And this is more reliable. So 7 months till we have the new components. Since things are looking up and we're feeling innovative, what I'm also feeling is that we're going to expand our R&D capacities a little bit, so that we can now have one big team working on either a new platform or an entirely new car, and a small team always taking care of some facelifts. And I think it makes sense to facelift the compact and then next one the sedan. Compact is now 7 years old. So new generation. We can probably modify chassis. We hadn't, oh no, we had already done this, and this is pretty expensive and not really worth it. Probably same for our engine. Yeah, we're getting a bit more torque out of a small, and a bit more fuel economy out of a minor modification. Yeah, so let's do that, and a bit more reliability, so let's do that. Same for the chassis, maybe. Bit more dependability, bit more performance. Yeah, and gearbox, so they would get the 3-speed with an overdrive, because the other component is getting too old. Here we don't see see some changes. And that's going to be the last, and we're going to put it somewhere else too. No, we just had made the new one. So then just a minor modification. And facelift for the 8 compact. So it gets not the non-synchronous but the 3-speed with overdrive. I think we would probably keep the same body, since it's just a minor overhaul. And we don't really want to have a look. Is this still on offer? The accumuler still exists. What else do we have? So these old coupe bodies. So in the new style, this has 533 cargo. And this has 678, so that's actually better. This is probably something like the compact, 589, so these are all smaller. This could be a compact, although it's more like a coupe, 609. So if we're just going for lots of stuff here, but that's all this new body. So let's simply stay with the accumulus, since we're not going to make big changes. And the same is probably true of these sliders. So we can very easily do it in 4 months. No problem. Dependability, 39. Do they want some more cargo space? 33 in overall. Doesn't hurt. Do they want more safety? Yes, 40. Some more quality. This doesn't do anything. Could do even more reliability, and it's not that much more expensive. 41, so then we have some nice stats here. And some interior quality for more overall. Yep, so that's then pretty nice. So 8 horsepower still. 11.1 fuel consumption, I think that's something that they'd like. Just curious what happens if we choose some of the newer bodies, which I assume have much better drag coefficient. And even this has probably better drag coefficient, 4.7. Still 11.1 fuel economy. So this is 4.3. 4.2. Still 11.1 fuel economy. The only thing that this changes is top speed, and that doesn't matter. So the accumulus is nice. And that's our new compact. And I think we can still do it in 4 months. Bit more expensive, but I think 400,000 versus 300,000 doesn't really make any difference. Otherwise, we're keeping the rest, so lower middle class and young people, their first car. So it's still the 8 compact, and let's put our second fictional team on this. Yeah, otherwise nothing has changed since I think we took care of the pickup production. So that's 900 pickups. Yes. Okay, then let's advance. Okay, that's working well. So the new pickup is selling nicely. And a ute as well. So we are a workman's company. Destruction in Nanjing. Yeah, that's the Japanese invasion. So 1,200 utes. Well, that's the next production line. We can make it more expensive probably. We're above unit cost, but I think one click here doesn't hurt since the competition is meh. Pun intended. The rest looks, I think, pretty neat. But I'll keep the touring as it is, maybe next time around. And we can slowly restart building the compact, since sales are decent. Although, it's 3 months. Yeah, we'll be empty next month, so we can something like 200. Otherwise, everything's fine. More destruction in China. Okay, we increased the price for the coupe. Yeah, or for the ute, and we have more sales. Okay, then this shall be the next production line, the final one. Melbourne is still 60 months away. No, we think we're going to need this for the compact maybe. Let's produce some reserves. So this is then actually fine. Otherwise we yeah, more tourings, 1,300. More microcars, although it's old, it's not aging. 900. More 16 sedans, so even in the twilight of their lifetime, they actually buy this. Compact is slowly sunsetting. Compact in 2. I wonder when our competition will start expanding to all the other cities, because at the moment we have 3 competitors except Hopesy in 3 different cities, and I think the game would be much different if they were in all of the cities. 516 sedans. For such an old car, I wonder whether someone pulled off the market. So less 32s. So we're stocking up on utes and on pickup. So pickup 850. So there we're getting our production line. And ute can be down to 1-1. So there are production lines, that works. Touring 1-2. Compact car 1, so we can basically cut production and put it on clearance. Even more on clearance. Okay, compact next turn. Research complete. I will scrap the last 4 compacts, or I will scrap 3 and put the last one into the company museum. Everything else is fine. Yes. So that's gone. Then let's put it on sale. Unit costs are nice and low, so that helps. So it's better than the Hopesy one, so we can actually have this as the sort of mid-market offering. That should work quite nicely and also have more sales than the old one. So it's sort of something like 400. $450. And production. The 8 compact, 1930. Let's see what the press says. Has Australis made one of the best compact cars with the new 8 compact? How does it stand up against ever-increasing competition? Powered by 8 horsepower, it could use a little extra performance, but it's barely adequate. So exactly where we wanted to have it. Not much in terms of torque. They like the handling. It's very drivable. Mortified in terms of the interior. So adequate, satisfactory cargo space. We have the model is put together well. Very dependable. They love the fuel economy. And it's impressive in terms of safety, so that rework was, I think, worth it. Nothing new in the news, and let's see how it sells. New contract requests, nothing for us. Lots of awards. Best compact. We still have the best. Oh, and it's the best compact car in the entire world. That's neat. More competition, but not here. Sales were okay. Yeah, our estimations weren't too far off. So that's now a worthy competitor. Otherwise, we're slowly building up some reserves. So, microcar down to 800. Touring has dropped. That's probably competition, so 750 touring. Let's check that. I don't think I've seen the GVU Chesapeake before, but it's terrible and expensive, so it's not much of an impact. So what we can probably give another car a bit of a makeover. Okay, so we're getting improved design skills except for engine. We designed a new engine. It has a rating of 37. It should have an increase per quarter, so our design skills for engine-wise are sort of at this limit. But I'm not sure why it doesn't do that. The others are nice, so chassis rating is 56. Gearbox rating is 46, so these are way above. So maybe the engine design isn't that great, although 37 should still be an increase. Let's just keep a watch on that. So modify something. So the oldest ones is the microcar still holding up. The sedans are going to be revamped in 2. The full-size sedan is still doing sort of okay. So we can probably leave it at that. And start working on it once we get a notable drop in sales, because a quick facelift will be quick. So, next year. More destruction in Barcelona, so that's the Spanish Civil War. So, compact car, 400. What I can probably do is, while I'm seeing this unoptimized, is recondition. Yeah. I have to go over everything anyway. 32 sedan. It's fine. The Ute sells nicely, 1,200. Touring 772 with plenty of reserves. Grand Coupe, that's the next one on the list after the sedan. 800. Microcar 850. Pickup 900. '16 sedan 450. LX 250. Compact 400. Phaeton still exists and does not too shabby. So that was everything, right? Yeah, so how is the compact doing in terms of unit costs? I think we can sell it for a bit more. Shouldn't be, so we are way above, or clearly above unit costs, also in other cities. So but Perth is always the exception. So compact in Melbourne. So this would be above unit costs here. Let's see how this impacts sales. So next month we're going to get our platform. New year. Let's check sales. The touring still makes the chart. This may change now since there's a new competitor, but at least good to see that we were back here. So all time probably, yeah, nothing here. Although for the microcar, yeah, we're now the best selling microcar ever. That's great. Company directory. I think now less companies should be in the doldrums, although yeah, still some acquisition of marks and some others having trouble. So Dubles probably doesn't live much longer, and Colonial maybe either, and these two also. But more companies are turning a profit now, so still 1.5 pages only. And we are on the first page. Yeah, down here, so that's nice. So we are doing fine. And yeah, some giants forming here, so sales. First company broke the 200,000 sales barrier. And we are 85,000, so still on the first page actually. So doing fine down under. Okay, new year, new platform. So the revamp brought some nice changes, some increased sales. So research complete, yearly sales, new car bodies. So we have to increase production a couple of things. Sedans, 350 and 150. Yes, so they are definitely on the way out, but that's why we're designing new ones. So the 16 and the LX. 950 microcars. 1,200 full-size sedans. More tourings, that has recovered. That I think had the big impact on the reconditioning, but we have enough reserves. 850 Grand Coupes. Phaetons have dropped, but I think this is simply the model dying out, so 350 Phaetons. Let's see, 310. How long these reserves last. Tons of Utes, 1,400. That's definitely worth a new production line. And tons of pickup trucks, 1-1. That's also a new production line. Okay, so then new quarter, so okay, we're getting our engine skills back. So that seems to be oscillating around this number, which we didn't pass with our last engine. That's something to look out for when we design the next engine. Otherwise, it's a new sedan on a new platform. Do we need one or two? What's the competition doing? because we can always easily add another trim. So yeah, 2. That's plenty crowded. So then let's start with the base sedan on the new 2.4 meter perimeter frame. So let's check these. No, I'm not going to compare it to the old one in terms of safety, because I can't. So the 28 horsepower and the manual without an overdrive, which is way more expensive than the old one. So that's, I think, these weird inflation things that work. So the cheap one gets an overdrive and the other one doesn't. That's also a bit weird. So I'm going with the older gearbox here. So new look, please. So not this anymore. This is a bit small. Scenario has 785. That's smaller. That has 2 doors only. This is weird. 849, although I think this is... Is this too modern? 785. This is larger. Doesn't look too bad though. This is more full size-ish. That's another oddball. It's large, but somehow not a fan. This is ancient. This is more like hatchback, 987. This is big. That's long wheelbase. This fits 700, that's small. 919. I think this is a bit smaller, 785, although this may be... Is this a compact? Could be. This is a long wheelbase. The scale is sometimes pretty difficult. Let's start at the bottom. So this is full size. This is okay. This is 3-door. Let's say 3-door is something like subcompact, which also exists now. 685. This is probably something like subcompact. 959, maybe something like this. (922). 91919. I think this looks like a nice largish sedan. What does our full size look like? It's been a while. Yeah, so this one has the extra window here and a pretty steep front. So 2.4, 3cc, and the old overdrive. So this is more subcompact. This is more sub. This has 2 doors. These only have 2 doors. So this, the local, with 849. This is very large wheelbase, 915. So this, 922. Or this, 987. So it's a huge front. And this has actually some space in the rear too. These are sort of hatchback-ish. So the mattress is actually this looks larger than it actually is. I think I'm going with this. So this is the lower trim. So we can make it a bit higher, since we actually have competition and we don't have to be ultimately penny pinching. Now this is pretty expensive to make. So that's an argument for actually penny pinching. So middle class, market demographic, makes things better but for an insane increase in material cost. Other material costs are dropping nicely, okay, that's good. This doesn't do anything still. So with this body we are at 50.4. That's pretty high. Ah, this actually does something, but not enough to affect the ratings. Would other bodies be a bit more streamlined? So this is the 4.46. 0.48 is actually worse. This is more compact. This is also 0.46. This is weird. That's full size if we ignore the weirdness. Yeah, this is compact. 4.45. I think that was pretty sensible in terms of choice. 4.3. Yeah, this was the other option. 4.3, 14.5 fuel. But it's also smaller. Let's see what they want. So if the other one is better, it should be 30. No, it's the same. Basically identical. Okay, then we stick with this. Let's rearrange the UI. So, I suspect they want reliability. 30. 31. 32? Okay. I think they want cargo. 35, 33, 34. A little bit performance. 35. Safety. 37, 36. So this is expensive enough. Some more quality. Nope. Doesn't do anything here. Okay, so 13,712, that's I think pretty expensive in terms of material cost. Guess that's all our innovations. Yep, that's 250 more than the other, although the other has now been in production for ages with all the advantages of that. Let's just see what the other gearbox would do. So we're at the 37, 36 brink in reliability. So let's simply save the sliders. Sedan 1938. And let's pick the other gearbox. 37, 36. Yeah, correct engine. The Captain. And load the sliders. 37, 36. This gearbox is actually a little bit better, but also more expensive. That's the other thing. It's hardly any difference. And it's worth in terms of fuel economy, due to the lack of overdrive. And they don't really value the additional dependability that much. So then we stick with at least with the cheaper gearbox. So do the same thing all over again. And it's only from 1932, so that's okay. So we should have designed a 4-speed with overdrive as the new gearbox. Okay, load the sliders. So that's the sedan. So it's the 28. $13 months. This is getting pretty expensive here if I move upwards. 13 months, 1.5 million, 14 months, 1 million, 15 months, yeah, 14 months. That's, I think, the sweet spot. Okay. Market demographic makes things worse again. And here they don't really care about fuel economy that much. Interior quality, 752 versus 710, that's already pretty much more expensive. So that's 14 months, 28 sedan, with one other trim. So let's put the other engine in here and see what happens. And the same gearbox. So the larger engine again has the better fuel economy. That's a bit on the odd side. And the funny thing is this is also cheaper. Because the engine is cheaper due to this inflation thing maybe not entirely working as intended. So I'm simply making it an upscale trim and leave it with the same engine. Because I don't want to have the oddity of having the more powerful, more economical car being the one cheaper to make. Sorry game, I'm not playing according to that rule. So same gearbox. No, new trim. And just some more luxury sliders. It's the worst decision in terms of pure gameplay, but it's the decision that makes more sense to me, and that's why I don't care about gameplay at this point. Does this... okay, 37. Can we get some more performance maybe? 38. Some more reliability. Some more safety. Yeah, 39. And this is upper middle. Anything that's inconsequential, coating quality doesn't matter. Everything else seems to matter. This one doesn't. This one does. So, probably very similar. Just a little bit more luxurious. 850 compared to 710. Yeah, so it's sufficiently more expensive that this makes sense now. And it's a 28 sedan LX. Okay, 14 months to build. Okay, then let's advance things. Okay, we need one more Grand Coupe, or tons of more for the Grand Coupe, so that's a market exit. Well, so 1050 microcars, also something we need. Selling extremely well. So we can make more, have to make more Tourings. So that's 1200 Tourings. 1200 Grand Coupes. And we're out of production lines. 900 pickup trucks, so that's where we're getting a production line back. Okay, compact car is fine. And I think we're going to see how the year 1938 plays out in the next episode. See you then.